Hi everyone! In this video I would like to give you a brief introduction for assignment 3 of OOP1. So let's get started. After the A2 deadline, as you've probably already heard, you will have two different paths you can take. First of all, you can complete A2 at the A2 deadline and then continue on to A3, so start A3. Or you can continue to improve your A2 until the A3 deadline. So that's the two possibilities. They are explained in detail in the Discord announcement, so please read this carefully. And then also go into your assignment 2 repository and pull from upstream, and you will receive an additional file that's called A3, which contains the A3 description. And then once you've done this, you can decide as a team which path you want to take. So what is A3 about? A3 is what we call the Magical Operations AI. So you're supposed to implement an artificial intelligence that selects actions during a player's turn in the setup phase. And for this to work, we need 3 new commands. First of all, we need the UMI command, which is just supposed to print a team name, so you can choose a name that your team should appear under in the high score list. And this UMI command prints this name in a specific format. Then there is the sync command, which we will use internally to synchronize the game status between two different AIs when they're playing against each other. So this sync command prints the board, prints the game status, and prints both players' hand cards. Also, the format is described in the assignment description. And then finally, the main feature of this assignment 3 is the play command, which activates the AI, and the AI should then automatically select a single command to execute next for that player. Some general information about assignment 3. The deadline is on the 12th of June at midnight. A3 is worth 14 points. And you need to push your A3 submission to a branch called A3, but you also need to, whenever you want to test your A3, you need to push it to this A3 branch. So on the other branches, the A2 tests will continue to run, but on the A3 branch, we will test your A3 in games against other AIs. So only on this branch will A3 testing take place. A3 is teamwork, so you continue on in the same team as you had in A2, and only people who contribute to the A3 part of the assignment will get points. So if somebody does not contribute to A3, they will not get points for A3. And finally, as a quick announcement, there will be a final contest for the best AIs. This is not part of the grading will be done separately. But for the best AIs, they will compete against each other in a contest at the university where other people can watch what is happening, and then the best AI team will receive a prize. About the grading, so what we will do here is your AI will play against 3 different tutor implemented AIs, which are an easy, a medium, and a hard tutor AI. And there will be multiple game configs per tutor AI. And your AI will play 2 games per game config for fairness, because the decks for player 1 and player 2 might be balanced differently, or your AI may work better with one of them. So you will always play once as player 1 and once as player 2. And then this will be taken into account. So this is fair. And the points are then calculated from the number of wins, draws, and losses you have in these games. This is described in detail in the A3 description. Some more about the grading. The code quality and the style guide will not be graded for A3, but there are some specifications in the assignment description, mostly about what the AI is allowed to do and what it's not allowed to do. And also the general specifications from the course website apply, so make sure you read this carefully so you do not get any deductions. There will be assignment interviews for assignment 3, where your team will present your AI, so everybody needs to participate in this, but there will not be a coding task at this assignment interview. It's just the presentation and some questions from your tutor, but not coding. So what is your AI allowed to use internally? The AI is allowed to know the value of max rounds. So if the AI knows in the next round the game will end, then it might be better to not save mana or save some creatures or stuff like that. So the AI is allowed to use this value of max rounds. And the AI is also allowed to know anything a human player might know. This includes the game board, so the placement of the creatures, the current health of the creatures, the current attack of the creatures, anything that's visible on the game board. Then also the game status, so how much health the players have, how much mana the players have, how big the decks are, how big the graveyards are, stuff like that. Then the AI is allowed to know their own hand cards. So, for example, if player 1 executes the play command, then the AI is allowed to use all information that is in player 1's hand cards. It is allowed to use everything know about everything that's in both graveyards. A human player would know that from the game up to that point, which creatures are in both players' graveyards, so it's allowed to use that. It's also allowed to know everything about the game rules. For example, in which rounds the mana resizes, or in which rounds which player is the defender, or even details like when this spell is played, the slots are evaluated in this order, stuff like that. So everything that's in the game rules, the AI can know and use if you want to, if you need it in your implementation. And also stuff like the round count. This list is not complete, but there's lots of things that you can use to implement your AI so it can make the best decision. Then after this information the AI has taken this information into account, it should choose one command to execute next. And it should choose from these commands, which are all the commands that affect the game state. So it can choose to execute redraw, if this is still possible at that point in time. It can choose to execute done, a battle command, a creature command, or a spell command. So this is all things that change something about the game. So we had all the things the AI is allowed to do. So now we go on to things the AI is not allowed to do. It is not allowed to use any information that is unknown to a human player. The only exception is the max rounds parameter, but I already mentioned that. But it is not to use their own draw pile, because a human player would not know which card they will receive next. It is also not allowed to use the opponent's hand cards and the opponent's draw pile, because this is information only the other player has for the hand cards, and the draw pile, none of the players can know about that. Then the AI is not allowed to cause an error message. There will be deductions if your AI causes an error message, because it chooses, for example, a command that would play a card that the player does not have enough mana for. So avoid causing an error message. And this is the opposite of what we had before. The AI is not allowed to choose commands that do not affect the game state. Most of these commands just print something, for example, the help command or the graveyard, and all of this is already information the AI has already internally anyway, so why would it print it to the console? So these commands the AI is not allowed to choose, and just quit, the AI is not allowed to give up, which makes sense. So a list of commands that you're not allowed to use in your AI. That's it for the brief introduction to assignment 3. As always, there is an A3 forum on Discord. Please also check Discord for announcement regularly. Start early, and please do not plagiarize. I wish you good luck for A3, and as a final thing for this video, I will show you briefly what it looks like when you execute an AI. So let's take a look at this. As you can see, the A3 is implemented in the A2 repository, so it's just an add-on to A2. As always, compilation takes some time. Yeah, so we've started a standard game, and then I can briefly show you what the sync command looks like, for example. So the sync command just prints the board, prints the status, and then prints player 1 hand cards, player 2 hand cards. This is just information. And then let's say I do not want to play myself, I want player 1 to be a bot. So let's say play, choose a new command, and then the AI will choose the best command. And in this case, it's a creature command that places a squirrel soldier. Let's keep going. Yeah, so now we play a gladiator, and then another squirrel soldier, and then let's do play again. And then the AI decides there's nothing useful I can do anymore and chooses the done command. And then you can do the same thing for player 2, which will place a squirrel soldier, a gladiator, and another squirrel soldier, because this is like the standard configuration where there are only some types of cards in it. So we've got this set up now, and then let's just keep going for a little bit. Another squirrel soldier, and then we have a battle command. So player 2 will move this squirrel forward into the battle zone. And this, the second one, which activates the challenger trait, so you can keep going like this. And then the AI chooses to execute a spell. And this is the setup after this turn. So whenever a player enters play command, the AI chooses the best command to execute next. And then this command is executed like normal, with all prints that this command causes. Alright, I think that's it for the assignment 3 introduction. As I said, please feel free to use the forum if you have any questions, and I wish you good luck for assignment 3. Goodbye!